Hi, and welcome to THEJFRD, the official YouTube channel of the Jacksonville Fire Rescue Department, where our videos will offer you unprecedented access to our department, up-close views of the calls that we respond to, and a personal look at our members and how we fit as a family. It would be impossible for me to do this alone, so please join me in welcoming another member of our JFRD family, Stephanie McCluney.
Thanks, Eric. I couldn't be happier to be on this adventure with you and to be a part of this family, a family that's just become so near and dear to my heart and truly embraced the kids and I.
For those of you that are unfamiliar with Stephanie's story or her connection to us, her husband, engineer Brian McCluney, was lost at sea in August of 2019 during a routine fishing trip with a close friend who happened to also be a firefighter from Fairfax, Virginia. The week following his disappearance exemplified the fire department family as JFRD orchestrated one of the largest private search and rescue efforts in coordination with the United States Coast Guard this country has ever seen. Sadly, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted.
And it was before the search that I only knew Brian's immediate station family. I did not know the depth of this department. I came to know them through the search, and their continued support has meant the world to us. I was fearful in the coming months and year that we would be forgotten, it would be forgotten, and that we would lose that connection. But I couldn't have been more wrong. This department has rallied around myself and the kids, and it's been overwhelming. And I'll look forward to sharing Brian and his story and the way this department wrapped us up in the near future. But for now, I'm excited to be on this adventure with you.
And we're honored to have you, as we have so much to highlight.
Like our first fire of the year, this mobile home fire in District 59 on the east side. This mobile home structure fire was our first working fire of the year. Call came in just before 3 a.m. and was our 97th call. Crews were very quick to arrive on scene and had the fire under control within a matter of minutes. There was a family of 6 at home asleep inside. Someone smelled smoke, and the parents were able to quickly and safely get their children out. Homeowners had claimed neighbors had been setting off fireworks throughout the night. However, the cause is still under investigation with the state fire marshal.
Our next call was in District 9 in the middle of the day.
Let's take a look at that one.
Engine 9 was the first company on scene to this 2-story house with reports that the home was vacant. Their arrival report was that there was fire showing from the rear of the house, not only from the first floor, but from the second floor as well. This older home presented a few features to this fire that created obstacles for our firefighters. The first one was the location of the stairwell to the second story. Normally, we find this near the front entryway, but this one almost appeared as if the stairs were added later near the west end of the home. This prevented initial crews from getting upstairs and locating the seat of the fire. The second obstacle was tongue and groove ceilings. This slows the process of opening up spaces to reveal hidden fire. One of our hose lines had to be extended to get upstairs, but with reports of the house being vacant, firefighters have to be extra cautious upstairs, watching out for rotted floors or holes that they could fall through. Firefighters did a great job bringing this fire under control, and no injuries were reported. The cause of this fire is currently under investigation.
Let's change gears a little bit and look a little deeper into that family aspect of the fire department.
One of the joys of our job are the bonds that we build with those that we work with. Because we're on a 24-hour shift basis, we spend a third of a life with the fire department. Stephanie had a chance to sit down with one of our members and experience it firsthand.
At age 18, engineer Ariana Lopez left her family in Barcelona, Spain. She came to the U.S. on a tennis scholarship. After graduating the University of North Florida with her degree in electrical engineering, she worked a few years in the field and decided it wasn't a good fit for her. She knew she loved the country and wanted to stay.
As far as her going through the process of becoming a citizen, she never let on in the slightest.
I didn't want all the attention. I wanted it just to be something small, and it became a huge thing.
One way or another, we'll all be there. Engine one, ladder one, the command van was there, and the rescue, which is very special, as that shows how much her family means to her.
Very highly recommended out of the training school by a lot of the instructors out there.
And it seemed like every time we kind of raised the bar for her, she would raise it a little bit higher for herself. It's just kind of how she is.
The first 2 weeks when she came to the station to sign the engine one was every day, probably 10 hours straight. She wanted to know what every piece of equipment was, what it was used for, how she can use it, and what other multiple ways she can use it.
I've been very fortunate to come on at one. Wasn't sure how it was going to be. I had no expectations. I was very, very lucky to have Chief Green now. At the time, Captain Green was my first officer. And when they say your first officer makes you or breaks you, it's definitely true. He was nothing but good to me, a great leader, amazing fireman. Great engineers. I had Bobby Dobson, was my technically first engineer, and then Mike Kern was my final engineer, I guess. And they've just been so good to me. They're tough on me, made me better, and they've been brothers and family to me, and it's been my home since I came on, and it's my home now. It's just a big, big family, and this was no different. This was them showing how much they care and their support, and that they're there for me, and it just meant a lot that they were there and part of the whole entire process.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. And I am a new citizen now.
This morning, it's kind of bittersweet because my family couldn't be here. But my family is here. All you guys are here. As much as they can't be here, you guys have been it more than anything I could have ever imagined. So, thank you guys, each one of you.
I want to know about the boots that you got.
Oh, yes.
I want to hear that story.
Well, it's kind of a funny story. So when I was driving Rescue 1, there was always this girl at the hospital, one of the nurses, that kept having those USA boots. I was like, you know what, if I ever become a U.S. citizen, I'm buying those boots. And we're like, well, you're a U.S. citizen now, so now you get your boots.
I liked them. Nice
I did
touch.
too.
But that's that
Yes.
whole family touch. They go
Absolutely.
above and beyond.
Absolutely.
She's very special, and she's an amazing person.
Part of the family there at number one. Kind of like a kid sister almost.
It's just she is our little sister.
Never gonna forget that day, obviously. It's very special to me.
That's a great story, Stephanie. But let's get back to some fire.
And oh, what a fire we have. This one turned into our first third alarm fire of the year.
Ladder 4 on scene. We have a 2-story vacant building. Fire showing out the second story.
I could see it. I could see the flames from 95 and Union, and I knew it was probably going to be a second alarm. I knew it probably was going to be a defensive fire.
Firefighter, this is going to be a defensive fire. I need ladder 4, go ahead and set the jacks. You got the stick up.
The fire was above their heads. Second story was fully involved. It wasn't safe. And with knowing the history of that building, it wasn't safe. So I told them to back out, told the ladder company to back out. I noticed some embers had got over on the 7-Eleven, and it was catching fire. The roof of it started to catch fire. Chief Cipriani, Fire 7, he immediately went over there and addressed the fuel pumps. That was a major concern. I thought, we don't need the 7-Eleven catching fire. I certainly don't need these fuel pumps catching fire.
Rescue 1 from command. We have 2 LP tanks on the north side and the northeast side of the building.
There was an LP tank that was on the back of the building that was absolutely being impinged upon by the fire. I knew that it was an abandoned building, various stages of disrepair and deterioration.
Better, the walls are starting to separate. There's major cracks throughout the whole wall. All companies understand, I want you to back up from the building. The building is showing compromise around in the masonry. Command for Fire 7, be advised, there's a propane tank on the 7-Eleven side in the collapse zone. Fire 9 from command, you are my safety officer. Make sure all companies back up to a safe collapse distance from the building. Command for Fire 9, I got a 2.5 cooling that tank, about a 150-pound cylinder.
Talk to every chief that was there and they'll tell you, Ryan's telling me it's going to collapse, I'm telling it's going to collapse.
Concentrate on this Bravo side right now with everything we have to try and keep it from collapsing. There's major cracks in the wall back here on the Charlie Delta side. Yeah, I got a big one up front here too. We're putting everything we can into this front to protect that Bravo side.
So one of my main concerns was also the ladders pushing the walls over.
Be wary of hitting the other side of the building and pushing these walls out. If you need to, put people on the tips. Ladder 4, put someone on the tip of that ladder.
We put people on the tips of the ladders to direct the streams, and we actually tried to direct them to make sure that they weren't pushing walls or things that were going to cause the building collapse. My main focus is fireman safety. I mean, I think all of us are that way, and that was from the get-go when they were trying to go inside. The ladders are really invaluable there. I cannot tell you how good it was to have them there.
This fire is under investigation by the state fire marshal for this 107-year-old historic building. Due to strong leadership and experience, I'm happy to say there were no injuries at this fire. Although this was not the first fire in this building.
I'm telling you, to this day, should have collapsed, didn't collapse.
Sadly, this historic building was torn down within a week for safety reasons.
And that's going to do it for us today.
Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and drop us a comment below.
We've got more to come.